How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is the Basketball Wife Season 9, Episode 3, Heavenly Intervention Review. Heavenly's a bitch. I've said it. Whoever named her Heavenly should have put horns along next to it. Heavenly or Lucifer, Devilly. I mean, there's several ways we can actually, spin her name other than Heavenly, because I don't know. However she treats daddy, it's probably completely different that she treats everybody in this world. She don't want to lose daddy. So she hides herself and she shows her kind self. But Heavenly is a complete asshole. And sometimes people think it's funny because she does that little crazy laugh, the little witch. It's not funny when you're a bully, okay? We all know that Heavenly growing up was wide in all her sides. Okay, she was huge. You needed a whole sign that says wide low coming through while she was walking. The ground shook. Okay, so people were making fun of her and her weight and probably the way that she looks. Probably because her hair was nappy. Maybe it was, what they call the chicken head. They probably called her every name in the book. And so because she had to tolerate that and go through all of that before she now went and trapped daddy into marrying her by getting pregnant on purpose like she suggested in previous seasons, she was the butt of everybody's jokes. Now she is actively making everybody the butt of her jokes, and she does not think about it's one thing for kids to bully you as kids. It's another thing for you, who claims to be so intelligent, who has a doctor's license to be a dentist and work on people's teeth, to now be the one bullying people. And I say bullying for a reason. The difference between being playful and bullying is if you make a joke and you're the only one laughing and the person who's the butt of the joke is offended, that is not a playful way to act. You are bullying them and you're being mean. A joke is only funny when the person who you're making fun of is laughing with you, not hurt by what's coming out of your mouth. And I think that's the difference. And as smart as Heavenly claims she is, I'm sure she understands that, but she doesn't care so far as it benefits her, because that's how she gets her rocks off. It wasn't bad. It wasn't okay enough for daddy to love her and actually sleep with her and her evil self and trade spirits with her and souls in their bedroom. That wasn't enough for her. She had to go and put other people down who were just as equally successful on the same platform as she is to make herself feel good about herself. Heavenly is not a nice person. She's a good for TV. She's funny to listen to. She's entertaining, but she is a mean-spirited individual. I'm not going to change my mind. Okay? Now, I don't know why they moved her. They kept trying to move Mariah out. Mariah has some learning, had things she had to learn. She had mistakes that she made. But Mariah should have still been on this platform instead of Heavenly to sit up here and behave the way that she's behaving. It's very, very sad to see. Because Mariah got so fed up with Heavenly that she actually made up a whole story that daddy was cheating on Heavenly just to let Heavenly feel the level of frustration that she felt towards her. Was it right? No. But Heavenly will pick at you till you're forced to be just as mean and just as cruel to her as she is to you, because she cannot comprehend that her decision-making process is severely flawed. And Heavenly, if you're not too smart enough to understand the words that come out of my mouth, pick up a dictionary, girl, because you're supposed to be the smartest person in the room, but you are doing some of the dumbest things I've ever seen on your platform. Then we have Contessa and Toya getting together because they have a collective beef towards Heavenly and her loud mouth. So they're talking about how they want to now sit there and get her back, essentially by giving her intervention, inviting all the ladies to be part of that intervention so they can all see what Heavenly is saying behind her back. Simone already had an issue with Heavenly talking about her marriage. Simone confided in Heavenly just as much as, y'all remember that? Simone confided in Heavenly when her and Cecil were on the verge of a divorce, when Cecil did not have a job. Heavenly went on Facebook or Twitter when her and Toya were having an argument. Cecil hopped in. Instead of her attacking Cecil with her own attacks, she repeated something that that Simone told her in confidence. And that created a huge issue between her and Heavenly. And it also was a problem because Simone felt like Jackie should have had the sense to keep Heavenly on the back burner because Heavenly did something that was not right. Contessa is now learning the same lesson because Contessa and Heavenly were talking on a daily basis. Contessa in those conversations, while Contessa has put her business out here, we didn't see that Scott does emotionally abuse her. We didn't see that Scott does gaslight her. And we didn't see that Scott acts like he's out here cheating, looking at assistants' photos and showing it to people on national television. We didn't heard her say that she's not sure if somebody's cheating, but she hopes not. We saw all of that. The problem is there's that saying, I can talk about my family, I can talk about my husband, I can talk about my children like a dog, but you can't. They're not your husband, they're not your family, and they're not your kids. I'm the only one that's allowed to talk crap about my own family member. You find your own family member to talk crap about, not my own. And don't make me the butt of your jokes or the top of your conversation. But Contessa later on is also saying that some of the things that Heavenly is repeating are things that she also said to her in private, despite what we already saw on national television. You understand what I'm saying? I need you to understand that fact, that point. Then we get to Anila and her kids. Now, Anila has had a nanny for quite some time, Miss Gomez. Miss Gomez has established a bond with her kids. When she was pregnant, she was around with her kids. She's been there for a number of years, but Miss Gomez is now moving out to go and take care of her grandkids, build bonds with her grandkids. She's not trying to stay anymore. She's done her part. And so you see her now saying goodbye to the family. Anila is more concerned about what she's going to do because she does not know how to be a nanny to her own kids. That's why she got a nanny. She does not know how to handle two running around kids. And we're going to see that, a glimpse of that in the next episode. So she's feeling like Miss Gomez leaving is going to force her to now go and find somebody else to trust, that her kids will trust. And whoever comes in has to now, fill Miss Gomez's shoes. Because seeing how those kids reacted to her leaving, it tells you just how much time she spent with those kids and how much effort she's built to build bonds with those kids. It really puts a little bit of a light, shines a light on what nannies have to do in order for parents to get really comfortable with them, be around their kids and whatnot. The way that her daughter reacted in tears, it was just so sad to watch. But I'm happy that Miss Gomez treated them so well that they had that type of emotion to come out of them. Because some kids will abuse your kids when you're not looking. Some nannies and some people will abuse your family members when you're not looking. It happens. Then we have the sleep number truth scene with Toya and Eugene. Eugene comes down, Toya comes down and she's enjoying that sleep number. They flash back to where Quad's ex-husband, Greg, was upset that Quad took the sleep number because she was going to take the best. That bed was apparently the best thing. I need to get one. I almost want to know what it feels like to be in a sleep number, because apparently that bed does wonders for people. And Quad needed it so much that she took it because Greg lost the sleep number and was like, my sleep number is gone. That was a huge thing. So Toya and Eugene said, this sleep number must be a great bed, so I'm going to go and buy me one. And they did. And apparently it's paying off. Toya comes down and it seems like Eugene and her have a heart-to-heart conversation. And basically Eugene is experiencing a little bit of depression and PTSD from the COVID pandemic. He saw a lot of the deaths, the ramifications of the COVID. What happened, we had the anti-vaxxers running around and we had people who were for the vaccine, but we also had people who actually saw the repercussions of those who maybe couldn't get the vaccine, maybe didn't have access to it, or just weren't trusting it, came in and what that virus was doing to them. And so to see so much people die or be in that state, it's almost like going to war. You see so many dead bodies, you start getting PTSD and you get depression. At the same time, he was also the director, a director of the hospital at that time. Now he's no longer directing. He works clinically, but to sub the income he was making, he's now working more hours. So it seems like Eugene is at that part in his life where he's just not happy. And so he wants to find something that'll put him in the mindset to where he's happy again. And part of it may be Toya, because Toya's expenses are quite large. She travels to Dubai on Eugene's dime. And while she is getting paid for being on TV and being the mayor into medicine, and that's where her primary income comes from, Eugene was the bulk of the moneymaker in the family, and she just happened to luck out on a man who was willing to marry her and let her be a stay-at-home mom with the two boys that they have. And now that the two boys are old enough, 11 years old, to live on her own, don't need her to be at home 24/7. She's still enjoying her time at home and not working, and her husband just giving her money and her dipping into his pockets. There's nothing wrong with a black man taking care of a black woman that has his babies as his wife. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think Toya's demands at times could be excessive. And sometimes what we've seen in the past, the way that Toya talks to Eugene is very condescending and disrespectful and unloving. And maybe like he's walking over her a little bit, stuff like that. So I think, or she's walking over him a little bit. So I'm hoping their marriage is getting better, plus all the different houses they keep having to move to because Toya's lavishness that she wants to build this house and build the dream. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So I don't know whether that also has something to do with it or if it's just Eugene really just trying to get his place. And after listening to what people are saying about him being the bitch in the relationship, it could really get to you as a man. So I don't know what it all entails just yet. This is episode 3. So I'm hoping that as time goes by, we'll find out more. Then we have Omarosa on screen. I looked at the screen. When I saw her, I looked again and I said, you know what, girl, bye, Felicia. I'm not even going to touch this scene. So we get to the intervention stage location. We're at Contessa's house. Contessa instructs Toya to answer the door. Her and her literal big ass was answering the door, and she was instructed to now take the phones of everybody, have it placed in a bucket, because she does not want anybody to give Heavenly a heads up, because this intervention / ambush is supposed to make Heavenly feel the way that everybody else feels when they watch her show or her channel, and she's talking crap about them, and they have to be in shock once they hear what she says. So this was like a get back as well. This is how you made me feel, so I'm gonna make you feel it, and I'm gonna do it on a platform. I didn't talk to you for 5 months. I have not discussed anything with you for 5 months, but just because you went online, now I'm on TV with you, I'm gonna make sure I embarrass you to the level that you embarrassed me. That's what Contessa and Toya were trying to do, kind of get back what they feel Heavenly has done to them time and time again. Heavenly from the very beginning has talked crap about Toya, and let's be clear, she called Toya unintelligent. She said that Toya is the least intelligent one in the group, because Toya does not have a doctorate degree or anything of that sort. And she said Toya's ditzy, Toya's dingy. Then she called Toya lazy because Toya's not working, which I thought was a jealous thing, because Heavenly would like Daddy to pamper her in that way. Then when Toya built her little 2-story closet, Heavenly went and built her little 2-story closet. Heavenly projects a lot of what she's feeling and talks bad about Toya so bad. It's like Toya is a piece of trash to her. She does not respect Toya. And I have not seen something that Toya has done to Heavenly that's so bad for Heavenly to dog her out the way that she does. She does. She dogs Toya out. Contessa is just her new victim. But Contessa's lashing back, because Contessa don't play. Then we got Quad coming in with her phone, making a scene because she don't want to put her phone. Probably because she don't want them to go through it, because stuff that's in there may not be something she wants them to read. So she goes out. Toya's like, bye. Contessa runs outside, said, it's just a misunderstanding. We just need you not to use your phone and not to give anybody any warnings what we're going to do. So Quad comes back in. Dr. Jackie comes in, and Toya's acting Dr. Jackie, asking her if she can put her phone in the bucket. Dr. Jackie says, I don't think that Toya knows what doctors go through, because she's Mrs. MD. I'm the real MD, so I need to have my phone. I said, Doctor, I don't know. Jackie has a very inflated ego about herself. Her being a doctor, a gynecologist, is a very helpful job for Black women. It's good to have a Black doctor out there, a female one at that. It's good to have her be in a position to where she can help people when it comes to having babies and what goes on down there with the vajayjay. But is it a heart surgeon, a brain surgeon, an eye surgeon? No. But Jackie has a very inflated ego. She keeps referring to that. I know that it's an accomplishment to be a doctor. It really is, because there's a lot of schooling that you do. There's a lot of internships that you do, and a lot of stuff that you do to get to that title. And with a number of years experience, your knowledge is vast in that field. But Dr. Jackie strikes me as somebody who sees herself a little bit as above everyone else, and including Toya. So there's sometimes when she takes digs at her, I don't know if Toya knows what it's like to be a doctor or what, but she's just Mrs. Doctor. She's Mrs. MD. I'm the real one, so she doesn't know how much I need my phone. It is a temporary situation for you to put your phone down for all of 1 hour, so you can just do whatever it is we're doing here. This is a job. Put your phone down. Unless if you were gonna do surgery or something was important for you, you wouldn't be here. You're here because whatever it is you have to do can be put aside for maybe an hour or two. So put your damn phone inside a damn bucket. So she ends up coming in. Then Heavenly shows up for her ambush. And everybody inside, Heavenly, Anila, Toya, Simone, Jackie, are now realizing that Heavenly is not aware of what Contessa is going to do. Contessa is wearing one of Heavenly's wigs from her shop. That wig looked like something you find in a strip club, okay? But she was wearing it, and she wear it well, because Contessa just have a nice body. She has a trainer. So we're looking at the situation, and Contessa now explains to them that they want Heavenly to see what she looks like from the outside looking in, and what she says about people. And they're hoping that maybe if she looks at it, she'll be able to understand the pain and the impact that she's inflicting with her words, trying to make a few dollars online. That you're now putting everybody that's supposed to be your friends on the chopping block to make money for yourself. Heavenly's that person that if you say, would you snitch on your family for $10 million? She used to say, I snitch on my mama, my daddy, my sister, my brother, the preacher, the dog. I'm a snitch on Jesus himself to get my money. That's exactly how Heavenly behaves. So this was supposed to be an ambush that was supposed to really take her off. But of course, Heavenly, she doesn't do well under fire, and she's going to get defensive. But she comes in Contessa's home theater. Contessa says, we're going to play a movie, a shady movie, but we're going to play the movie anyway. As they're playing it, the video begins. And the first thing you hear Heavenly say is she's been around the ladies and she ain't seen them with their makeup. And it's almost like she's saying that they're ugly without makeup, number one. And I'm like, Heavenly, you were not the prettiest person growing up either. And you think you're the prettiest person here? Girl, Toya to me is very pretty. Mariah was absolutely beautiful. Let's not ignore that. Mariah was gorgeous with or without makeup. Okay? And you're sitting up here. Aside from Quad's edges, Quad does have nice features. Okay? So Jackie's also a very pretty woman. There are several people on that platform that have nice faces with or without makeup. I don't know why you feel the need to talk about it like that, because we didn't know what you looked like prior in the past. We didn't know if you could fit through a door. Then we had her saying that Toya is lazy and Toya did whatever she had to do to get a man. And I'm thinking, didn't you trap daddy to get your man? Then she accuses Quad of going to club dressing half naked and watches at the club, basically sleeping with married men. And Quad is like, are you serious? We're supposed to be friends and you over there telling me I'm sleeping with married men on your platform because you want to be funny. You want to gain likes. You want to get comments. So you just have diarrhea of the mouth and bad mouthing people that you expect to be friendly to you. How does that make sense? Then we have them talking about Quad possibly having fillers in her face. And Quad and Heavenly said, well, Quad's face is full. Quad says, I'm young and the prettiest bitch here. I said, Quad, you better tell him how you feel, because Heavenly just runs her mouth for whatever clout she wants. She's doing this off of clout. Heavenly has diarrhea of the mouth for clout. That's what she does. Then we have her saying that Simone is a flip-flopper. Then she brings up Curtis and his hoeing ways in the past. And they said that video of her, what she said about Jackie, was about 4 years ago. But she did say it. Now that her and Jackie, or she's learned to respect Jackie more, she's careful what she's saying about Jackie. But I said before, she does not respect Toya, so she's going to keep talking about Toya. And she has now lost respect for Contessa because Contessa is choosing to stay in a relationship that may not have been healthy for her. So that's why she heavily dogs people out that she has no respect for, and that's just what it is. Then we have her getting to Scott and Contessa and talking about Contessa's relationship being abusive, her supposed to leave Scott's behavior not changing. Was the thing that Heavenly said about Scott and Contessa so horrible, like there's no truth to it because of what we saw? No. The thing about it is Contessa was confiding in Heavenly every day about what was going on between her and Scott. I'm sure she talked to her about what was happening with them going to therapy and her trying to fix her marriage, and possibly when she filed for divorce, she probably looked at Heavenly as somebody she can rely on emotionally. So to now watch Heavenly go online in such a big platform and dog her and talk about her husband and talk about her family, it's not necessarily about Contessa bringing her relationship up. It's more so like, you're my friend. You shouldn't be talking to me about my relationship that way. I can take it from complete strangers, but not from you, somebody I called and confided in. So while they're talking about this, you see Heavenly the whole time. It's funny. And Contessa's looking at her the whole time with disgust. And Toya is looking at her like, this woman is just very mean. She's very mean-spirited. And I feel like Heavenly has held a lot of grudges from her past, and now she's reenacting in adult life what she experienced in her childhood. And she's targeting people, and it's just mean. This is why I say she's a bully. There's nothing funny about a joke when you're the only one laughing. The person who's the butt of your joke, if they're hurt, you are a bully. This is not a game anymore. And it's as smart as you claim to be, you should be able to recognize that. But Heavenly is just an asshole. She's just a mean spirit, and it's not something new. We knew she was a butthole. We knew she was a butthole when Mariah called her a bullfrog. Said she looked like a dang bullfrog. So that was funny when she said that. Then when it all ended, Contessa said she over here laughing about it. Oh, it's on. So it ended, and Heavenly said, you brought me here for this shit. Now you didn't talk to me for 5 months, but you want to talk to me here. Now you want to talk to me in private after you did everything on a loud platform. Contessa breaks down, starts yelling. And I think in that moment, Heavenly was able to see the level of hurt that she inflicted on Contessa, to where she now said, come talk to me outside. Contessa's going off on her, saying, you said a lot of stuff on your platform that I said to you in private. Heavenly starts screaming, but you put it out there, you put it out there. Heavenly is not understanding that it doesn't matter what I say about my husband. You don't get to talk crap about me and my family, number one, because my children might see it. Number two, being that this is a show that's on TV, we may talk about her family. We may talk about what we're going to say, but we're strangers to her. Heavenly is somebody that she talks to every day. I confided in you. You're supposed to be somebody I trust and love, and you're gonna go and do that to me just so you can gain some likes and make some money, and we're supposed to be friends. And she's breaking down, and Heavenly's trying to hug her because Heavenly is realizing the extent of what she did, but she's still not wanting to take accountability of what she did to the extent she needs to. Jackie said, hey, they need to figure that out. Quad gets in the confessional saying this was not to teach Heavenly a lesson. This was to get her back. And I said, yes, it was to get her back. But Heavenly needs to get got back because she needs to be taught a lesson. She may need to be bullied again to knock her down a peg. Hell, somebody needs to come from her high school and bully her some more. She might need it, child. But at this point, Heavenly and Contessa are at their breaking point. I don't know if they're ever going to find their way back because I think Contessa has lost complete trust in Heavenly's behavior. And I do remember Jackie and Heavenly having a similar relationship. Jackie just doesn't argue. But there are certain times when Heavenly has run her mouth and talked about Jackie. And Jackie said, at least you don't look like a busted can of biscuits. I was like, damn, not a busted can of biscuits. But it's just, it was just several. Heavenly, I don't know if she's hazing every new person that gets on the platform. She hazes them one way or another, and she needs to have more self-control in what comes out of her mouth. You can talk crap about everybody. Don't you have anything else you want to say other than badmouth people to get some likes and just run your mouth? And people find it funny. I've seen the comments. They find it funny. But I have to also think, if I was on the receiving end of that mouth, would I be okay? No, I'd probably punch that heifer in her face. But that was that. Heavenly ends up leaving. Contessa's ready to jump her. Simone is holding her back, and they show the next episode. Anila without her nanny is a tragedy. Girl, I'm tired. I feel so bad for her. She had to call her mom and say, Mom, how did you do it? I don't know how to do this. Then we have Toya, Anila, and showing up with U-Haul at I guess at Toya house, wherever they're at, using Toya. Something Toya must have done may have pissed her off because she said, I'm here to help you move. I'm here to help you move. Since you're always moving, I'm here to help you move. That's supposed to be shade. Then Anila's husband, in the middle of the guys gathering, decides to, I guess one of the things that they've been doing is picking on Toya and Eugene. Eugene is at the breaking point where he's tired of people just talking about him like he's some punk. I noticed that. I see that. People talk to Eugene that he's just too much of a nice guy because they see how Toya treats him and how he doesn't reprimand her. So they basically think he's a bitch. So he's trying to rectify that, but I don't know if he has enough time to do so because it's been so many seasons. We're in season 10. What is it? Season 9? Then Anila's husband said something, and Eugene said, I don't want to be a butt of your joke. Stop joking. I don't like to be a butt of your joke. It's not fun for me to be a butt of your joke. And Anila's husband said something like, hell, I'll be the dullest motherfucker here. Eugene gets up and says, call me motherfucker one more time. As in, nuck if you buck. I was like, whoop, Eugene. Now I see why Toya likes you. This is a side that you need to go. That we all women like the barbarian side of a man when they're defending us and our honor. It's facts. We don't want our husbands to go to jail. We don't want our husbands to get hurt. But when your husband stands in your place and starts defending you, woo, you might want to have another baby for him. Yes, it's always sexy to see a man fight for your honor. Especially if he wins. That even makes it better. Anyway, that was this episode. Let me know what you guys think. If you have not already, go and watch my Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 episode 11 review. You will enjoy that one as well. And hopefully give me your comments and let me know what y'all think at the bottom. You guys have a good rest of your day. And I will see you guys when I do my next review.